Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the His and Her Rewatch podcast, where we watch movies that he likes
and watch movies that she likes.
I'm the His, Caleb. With me, as always, my wife, the Her, the one and only Megan. Megan, welcome back to another episode.
Yeah, we've made it to episode 3. No, wait,
This is
episode 4. I'm sorry.
Episode 4. I know, our third one hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. We were trying to batch some content before we go out of town next month. So
That's right. We're trying to get
my
ahead.
mind hasn't caught up yet.
That's right. We're still looking at the second episode on the apps and stuff, but we still have I'm still editing. I'm still even editing the third one. So
Yeah.
So you're giving me lots of work to do and getting prepared like you're talking about. So it's fun though. We're still at it.
Yeah. So we're episode 4 now.
Episode 4. Episode 4. I hope everybody's watching or listening and enjoying it still. And
Yeah, I had a friend of mine. She told me that she told me some fun statistics. Yeah, there we go.
Good job.
That word's hard to say. That word's hard to say. We're recording in the morning. Normally we record in the evenings, like really late in the evenings. So I always feel like my brain's always fried in the evenings, but it's also fried in the mornings as well.
Yeah, it doesn't help. Yeah, still got your coffee though. Already
Yeah,
gone
that's true. I may need
in the
another
system.
cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I had a friend of mine. She's super supportive of our podcast, and she's kind of a numbers gal, and so she told me that 90% of podcasts don't make it past the 3rd episode.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're already in the minority.
Yeah,
we're 10%, 10%,
the top 10%
into 4th episode, and then moving on from that, she said from that remaining 10%, even 90% of those don't make it past the 20th episode.
20. Wow.
Yeah, that's a long way away.
That's a long way.
We're hopeful.
Yeah, that's our goal. I mean, our goal is to keep going, to get enough
Yeah.
audience, to keep it going, and to enjoy it, and not be too much on us, to have fun and keep doing it. So,
What do you think our goal is? Like, what should be our goal? I mean, I know, we don't really have an end goal for this. It was kind of just to do it for fun, but I think we should set a goal. Like, what's our goal? Not as far as like maybe how many episodes, but like how long.
I don't know.
Can we keep it
I don't
up
know.
for?
Let's keep it going as long as we can.
We gotta have an end goal. Like not an end goal, but like
I think if we do a year, if we do every week, and I think we could always keep doing it, but to be consistently doing it for every week for a year, that's a lot. Mm-hmm. And so it'd be nice. It's nice to have it where we're doing getting ahead a little bit, so we don't feel the pressure when we need to take a week or 2 off because of other things going on or whatever. So if doing it that way, I mean, we're done, 2 in a week, one every 4 or 5 days to get ahead, and so it'll help us keep it going. I think in the long run.
I think that's how most people do podcasts. They batch content. Some people don't, just because it comes part of their regular workflow. But I know
some rewatch podcasts, and then most of them are just TV shows, and they have lots of help and producers and stuff. But they try to do like 2 or 3 in one sitting, and they have guests and stuff. So
that'd be a long day.
But this is different for us because we're actually watching 2-hour movies. And we're doing it all on our own.
Right. Yeah.
And so it's a little bit different.
But it's getting easier and easier as we go along. We have more of a formula. And then, like, as far as, like, social media goes, we're working on trying to, establish that more.
Hey, tell them about our social media.
Yeah, so I've kind of taken over social media and the look of our branding, if you'd like to say that. Yeah, we worked out a little bit. I hope you guys like it. I feel like it's a little more eye-catching, a little more fresh. That's more of my genre as just far as like branding and getting all that.
Well, you do such a good job of it on your own, for your own business that I was willing to let that go.
I know it puts a lot more back on my plate,
especially when you started making fun of my choices.
Not. Well, when you start adding Comic Sans to...
Okay, that was one time, and that was like a rough draft.
That's all it takes.
Rough
one
draft.
time. One time, and you choose Comic Sans, and I'm like, I'm taking it over.
No, but I do like by the time this comes out, we would have had Instagram and had a couple posts, and our new logo design will be out there. The first one only lasted like a week and a half, but I like the colors, the cleanness, and what you're trying to accomplish. And I'm going to try to help you with some of the design.
I mean, just keeping it consistent, and then having the tools to be able to keep it consistent. So, just the fonts, the colors, and the backgrounds and keeping all those consistent and having just a formula of sorts to keep that going. It makes it look more professional and more just appealing to the eye. And I think it helps you grow faster, whether
people want to see the content. It doesn't look so random and stuff. I understand. Right, yeah. I understand. I get it.
Yeah.
And not that we are professionals, because we're not getting paid, but we can look professional.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like anything you do, you should do it in excellence. And I feel like that is going to be more appealing to our listeners and people who want to follow us. Sure. And I think that's one way to grow a following, but that's a whole other topic and discussion that I find fascinating. But that's not what we're talking about on this podcast.
No. So we are on Facebook and we are on Instagram.
Yes.
It's His and Her Rewatch.
Yep.
On both. So find us on there. And we also have our podcast apps and sites that you can listen. We're on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. So
yeah, we've added like 2 or 3 more now.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, that was so that was good. So we hope there's easier ways for you to watch or listen if you're not if you don't like where you find watch. It. I keep saying watch. Everybody says watch.
I know. Well, I mean, hopefully we may get to that point eventually where we do record on YouTube and do the podcast. I know a lot of people who do it that way, but currently I'm enjoying sitting in my pajamas.
If we start making money and it starts to like the need for video content, and it'll be worth the effort to put in for the video and look nice and all that. But in the meantime,
I think that'd be fun too to like show, like, we've started adding in voice clips of the movie. Like we can even start adding in, the video clips from the movie as well. So like people can kind of get that whole vibe that we're talking about.
That's right.
And, be able to see it in real time, whether they've seen the movie or not, then that way they can, enjoy it a little bit better.
Well, we watched your second pick.
Yes.
We watched Clueless.
And so, if the government could just get to the kitchen, rearrange some things, we could certainly party with the Haitians.
Wow. You guys talk like grown-ups.
Oh, well, this is a really good school.
Mr. Hall was way harsh. He gave me a C-.
Well, he gave me a C, which drags down my entire average.
Hello? There was a stop sign?
I totally paused. You try driving in platforms.
Oh, should I write them a note?
So Clueless came out in July 19th, 1995. This is our second 1995 film in a row. So we watched GoldenEye. That was 1995, so we talked a little bit about that year. We watched it on Paramount Plus. So it's a Paramount movie, so it was on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, we didn't have to pay for this one.
Yeah, we already paid for it.
Because we already do pay for all the streaming services. I mean, literally, I think we have all of them. It's really sad. But, I mean, we do use them. It's not like we're not using them.
Yeah, we do use them.
Especially now.
Yeah, exactly. We have to have it.
We foreshadowed buying all of the subscriptions for this podcast.
Yeah, we're the suckers that buy all the subscriptions.
Well, I mean, between us and then our kids, like, we all are using them. Yeah,
that's right.
As if.
All right, so the director, Amy Heckerling.
Yeah, I don't know. Good job on that, because that last name is trouble.
I think it's Heckerling, I guess. That one seems pretty simple, pretty straightforward. There's no silent letters or nothing on that one, so it doesn't screw me up.
No asterisks.
Right. So Amy Heckerling, people might know she directed Fast Times at Ridgemont High in 1982. She directed National Lampoon's European Vacation. She wrote and directed Clueless, and she also wrote and directed Look Who's Talking 2, and the 2000 film Losers.
Oh, I love those movies. The Look Who's Talking. Oh gosh, there's some classics too.
Yeah, those are. I remember watching those as a child.
Yeah.
And I think unofficially they say that her trilogy is Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Clueless, and Loser.
That's what, when I was going through this stuff, that was one, I did not know this was a trilogy.
Well, it's unofficially, but I think those are...
That's crazy. I did not know
those are like 3 different decades of high school...
films, yeah.
Comedies or dramas or whatever, so that she was a part of. And so...
That's pretty cool. I didn't know that.
Pretty neat.
Did you know that Clueless was also turned into a TV show?
I found that out now. I'm like, why is there two Cluelesses popping up?
Yeah, I did know that in the time. I never watched Clueless, the TV show. I mean, I maybe have saw it a couple of times, but I couldn't tell you anything about it.
I have no idea.
Obviously, it said it ran for 3 seasons, and I'm like, I guess it did okay for running for 3 seasons. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know what it, do you know where it was
Nope.
broadcasted? I don't know.
No idea.
So they would do that. Now that would be a streaming service that does that.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know who did that back then. She doesn't have like a lot of work. Amy Heckerling, she doesn't do a lot, but she has a few that are very good cult classics.
Well, I was also going to say too, as far as Amy's work, so with this movie, she, I didn't know this either, but it kind of makes sense now. She wrote this movie, like you said, she's the writer and the director of Clueless. She wrote it in a way that this is the modern day Jane Austen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she, it's based off of the novel Emma. The 1815 novel Emma. I've never read that book before, but I'm familiar with Jane Austen's work. But she just kind of a quote that she had was Amy, not Jane Austen. Amy's quote was, "I remembered reading Emma in college and being struck at how much it reminded me of old TV shows like Gidget." I don't know if you've ever seen Gidget before or even heard of it.
No.
No, you've never heard of Gidget?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, this is again my mom and giving me tidbits of her childhood, but I remember I was a teenager, I think, when we watched Gidget, but it's a very, very old TV show, probably 1950s, maybe 60s. It was in color. Some of it was color, some of it was black and white. So it had been
one of those transition years.
Yeah, one of those years. But I remember watching it at my grandma's house, and we watched Gidget. But it was kind of, it kind of reminded me of like a I Love Lucy cross with Gilligan's Island. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I think it was a spinoff from Gilligan's Island. I could be completely wrong on this, but I vaguely remember hearing something about that. But it's kind of like that ditzy girl, like Gidget is just like this ditzy, fun girl,
okay.
which is kind of how Cher was in Clueless. And I'm assuming that's how Emma was in that novel too. Was just like the ditzy, girl who just thought she was untouchable and, all that kind of stuff. But I thought that was kind of cool that she took inspiration from Jane Austen.
There you go. Good job on that.
Yeah.
So we look at the cast. Some
great
pretty
cast.
Good
oh
cast.
My gosh, I love this cast so much.
Yeah, a lot of them were like not big names. Well, none of them were not big names, but had pretty good careers after this.
I remember reading, I think that she said something about that they didn't have a very big budget, or maybe they were, from the producers, they weren't giving them a lot of heat on hiring popular actresses.
Right, they weren't looking for stars.
Yeah. They weren't looking for stars.
Like we talked about in some other ones that the studios were pushing for stars in some of these main roles.
And they were leaving really up to Amy on picking the cast for this movie.
Right. So Alicia Silverstone, the big the main character here, her character Cher.
Hello.
She's amazing. She's known for her first film was The Crush. You ever seen that?
Nope.
That was.
I realized I haven't really seen a lot of her movies. Like I was just right before we recorded, I was thinking, what else has she been in?
Yeah.
And she's been in a ton of stuff, but nothing really had been good. I remember she was in Blast from the Past. I don't know if you ever saw that.
Past. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. It's like a movie. Well, it's like how it sounds. Blast from the past. They go in the past.
That's
but
right.
She was in that movie. And she was really good in that movie, but I think that's the only other movie I remember seeing. Yeah. But everyone knows who she is.
Oh yeah, she's
because of this movie. I'm telling you.
Oh, her first movie was The Crush, and it was like a thriller style, and she had like this weird crush. I forget who she played opposite, and that was like her first role. And then she was in some Aerosmith stuff, and that's where
music video,
Aerosmith music videos, and that's where Amy Heckerling saw her, and so she wanted her to be Cher based on her performance in the Aerosmith in the music video Crying. So if you go back and look at the music video, she's all in that one, and the way her look was, I think the casting director was pushing for some others, but they didn't even make her audition for the role Cher because of her.
Wow, that was her audition tape.
Her Heckling just wanted her to be Cher based on that.
So in reality, she owes her stardom to Aerosmith.
Yes, she owes. But I think the casting director was trying to push like Reese Witherspoon and Sarah Michelle Gellar to play.
And I think Reese Witherspoon was actually a good option as well.
Yeah,
I think
and they had
at
a
that
couple
time
of
for her,
she had a couple more movies under her belt than Alicia did.
But like Legally Blonde, like that's kind of that whole same thing where she's like this ditzy girl, and it's kind of the same premise of Cher.
Well, it's funny. There's two names, Alicia Silverstone and Reese Witherspoon. They're very like similar, like enunciations. But yeah, she did a great job. I liked her in that role. She played the part well. She looked the part. I mean, she's very stunning on film.
I could see.
No, I think any of those would have been fine in that. Yeah, for sure.
Because they were looking for that blonde girl, young and kind of can play that ditzy role. And I think all three of them could have probably done a really good job at that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, as if.
They got Stacey Dash played
Dion.
I don't know why I can't.
It looks weird.
It looks weird. Why does it look like that?
That's just how it
Dion.
looks.
I know.
Yeah.
Stacey Dash is known for being in Renaissance Man and View from the Top. I'm not familiar with much what she's been after that. I know she was a little bit older playing, I think, in this film than the rest of the cast.
They all were. Oh my God. I never realized until I watched this movie again that they were supposed to be 15, 16-year-olds.
Yeah. Well,
15 and 16.
I think the youngest was Brittany Murphy. She was 17.
Yeah, she was actually the only one who looked like it too.
Yeah, she had to have a parent on set with her.
Oh my gosh.
She's, I'm sure, the only one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alicia Silverstone, she, the typical 20. She's probably like 21 or 22, I think it was.
Well, it's like we were watching that one scene in the classroom in the very beginning, and Elton is sitting in the desk, and I'm like, he is huge sitting in that little desk.
That desk was way too small for him.
Well, I didn't think it was a normal desk. He's just a really big guy. I'm like,
it was.
Wow, he is not 16 or 17 years old. Like, are all the kids in this class in the same grade level?
Right, exactly. And then Brittany Murphy, she played Ty. She tragically passed away in 2009. I think she would have had a really good, fun career. She would have been much more than just a teen or love interest. She had some really good roles. I mean, she played in Just Married with Ashton Kutcher. That was a fun movie.
Yeah.
She was in The 8 Mile. Her life was cut short, but she did great in this. She did great in this.
So
I loved her in this.
But yeah, did you know Terrence Howard and Lauryn Hill also read for Murray and Dion? And there's quite a lot of other up-and-coming artists. Up-and-coming actors and actresses. I have Owen Wilson tried out for Travis. Leah Remini auditioned for Ty. And Zooey Deschanel went out for Amber and Cher.
I got some of those. Paul Rudd auditioned for Murray,
auditioned for all of
Christian, and Elton before he settled into Josh. Jeremy Ritter, did you see that?
Yes.
Renner, he tried out for Christian and Josh. And then Seth Green tested for Travis.
Yeah.
We got Paul Rudd as Josh. He's probably the biggest name that's on here.
And I remember you were talking about before when we talked about this movie. And I told you who was in it, and you were like, "Oh my God, Paul Rudd is in this movie!" Mm-hmm. And I was like, "I think everybody says that because you forget that. I mean, because he didn't really have a lot of roles after this movie. Like, it kind of took a few years before he got some really big roles.
He did a couple of TV spots. I think he was Friends and
which
I don't know the years that he was in some of these, but he took a couple of TV spots and then he had some great movies. Obviously he's known now being Ant-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in several of those movies, and he's got the movie I Love You Man, 2009. Mm-hmm. That was a funny one.
Yeah, but see, again, that was like almost 10 years later before he started really doing anything again. So I think people kind of forgot that he was in this role.
And then he played a lot of like supporting roles. Like he was an anchor man for a little bit.
That's right.
And he was This Is 40. He was the main one. And Dinner for Schmucks. That movie's hilarious.
I never saw that.
No, you did. That was
Dinner for Schmucks. Yes.
Dinner for Schmucks.
I'm sorry, I heard that weird.
Yeah.
Yes, that
Dinner
is a
for
good
Schmucks.
movie. Yes.
That was a funny one. So, and then, he's in everything now. He's in that, what's that show? Only Murders in the Building. He's in that.
That's another great show if y'all haven't watched it.
Yeah, that's going on now. He's in that. He's actually.
Don't spoil it.
A spoiler. Yeah. Well, I think that's in the
first episode.
Yeah, that was in the end of the last season too.
Oh, was it? That's true. Yeah.
That's how they teased the third season coming up. Him being in it. I also love Donald Faison. as Murray. I love that guy.
He is so funny.
He is so great.
He's been in a lot of stuff too.
He is famously known for being in Scrubs. He was in there for 182 episodes of Scrubs.
And I don't know how. He looks the exact same.
Oh, yeah.
Like, exact same he does to this day. He looked back in 1995.
Yeah.
Same kid.
He has that commercial with, I can't remember the other actor's name that plays in Scrubs. And they have that commercial from, I think, in the Super Bowl. And like you said, he just looks the exact same.
He doesn't age.
Yeah. And then I love him in Remember the Titans, the 2000 film. I know you get tired of me watching that movie. That's probably one of my favorite sports movies.
No, it's a good one. It just makes me sad.
I know. It's just so great. I saw somebody put a clip on Facebook, I think it was yesterday. And it was like, I was like, yes, it gave me all the feels. I'm like, this clip is awesome. He wasn't in that clip specifically, but he does a great role in Remember the Titans. So I just love seeing him and stuff. He's great. So we'll talk about some of the other characters and stuff as we go. But that's who the cast that I wanted to highlight. We have it made $56 million at the box office. In 1995, it was the 32nd movie in 1995, and we kind of went over those. But this movie was a surprise hit when it was released. It was
I can see that.
It was actually the second top film for opening weekend behind Apollo 13. So I think it made like $10 million for opening weekend. So it was a big surprise. Actually, that movie, Clueless, only took 40 days to film. So they were.
I can believe it. I can believe it.
Yeah, you can see like some of the same scenes, like it just like, or the same sets.
40 days.
Took 40 days. That's cool.
That's got to be a record.
That's really fast for a big film.
Yeah, I mean, and I do feel like this is one of those. What do they call it? The cult films.
Oh, this is a cult classic.
Classic.
Yeah, it had a very good cult following after this.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, and a lot of it just, like, I was trying to think about last night. I was like, okay, I remember when I watched this the first time. Like, I don't remember how old I was. I know you're really good about, like, remembering how old you were, where you were, all that kind of stuff.
I'll just do the math. How old was I when the movie came out?
Yeah, I definitely didn't watch it when it came out because I would have been 9.
Yeah.
So obviously it wasn't appropriate for me. But I do remember I was in my early teens, and I'm pretty sure I watched this with my sister. I mean, growing up. I could
see where your sister would introduce that to you.
Yeah. I mean, I remember, like, growing up, and we still do this to this day, but a lot of the movies we would watch the first time, we would watch together. We whether it was just my sister and I, or my mom and I and my sister. But I'm pretty sure we watched this together. She may have seen it first. I don't know. But I do remember watching it, and we just had such a good time watching it, and it being so relatable to us at the time, because I'm pretty sure I was probably around like 14, 15 years old, and obviously I was nothing like these people in the movie, which I think is so funny because, Amy, the director, she was saying how she actually went to a California high school and was watching California high schoolers to get like a vibe of how they were.
I'm in.
And which, again, this is, we live in Georgia, South Carolina area. I grew up in Augusta, Georgia, but we don't act like that in high school. Or at least we did it back then, I still don't think they do to this day.
Anytime I watch a high school movie.
Well, it's always over-exaggerated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I'm like, that's not real out. But I understand.
Well,
That's
it is so much of a different type of, school over on that side. It's a lot bigger over there, and they have more of like a campus vibe than we do here. It probably was a little bit realistic. I would say probably like 80% unrealistic and 20% realistic. But no, I think it was just I keep trying to think and pinpoint at least a couple of different ideas of why this movie is such a cult classic. Like, what is it about it? Like, the storyline, it's okay. Like, the acting is great. But there's nothing like super phenomenal. Like, there's no special effects. Like you said, they filmed it in 40 days. Like, the writing is really good. And I think that might be the key, is like the dialogue between the characters. The writing is just so smart. It's so funny.
Yeah, I like the dialogue.
You have to watch. Like, there's lines that they said, when we watched it, and I didn't remember those lines, and they're just so funny. And they have so many quotable lines and just like one-liners. And I do think that's what make comedies so good, is having those one-liners.
I'm in.
But I do think like the chemistry the cast had, I think is a good important to, or is a good point to make too, is like having good chemistry. I know we talked about that in Pretty Woman, like the chemistry between the characters, and a lot of that goes into casting, making sure they all have, good chemistry together. But I really think the key to have this movie being so phenomenal is the costumes. Like the costuming is iconic. Like what they wear. I mean, there's multiple costumes in this movie, especially movies that Cher and Dion wear together, where they're costumes. Like people wear them as costumes, and people know immediately you're wearing that yellow plaid 2-piece outfit. That's immediately Clueless. It's just like they're just so iconic, and I think that has a lot to do with it being such a classic film. But no, I can't really pinpoint one thing. And maybe it's just all of these things together just make a magic formula for being such a great film. But I don't know. What do you think? Did you like it? I never really got your opinion on it.
Yeah, we didn't talk much about it at all last night after we watched it. And I knew, which I think is important. And I think that's why we try to record.
Yeah, it's so hard. It's so hard not to talk about it.
I know. And we want to record like pretty quick after we watch it.
Yeah, so we can talk about it.
This time being the next morning, but usually it's the next day. So, I mean, I had never seen the movie before. I definitely had not seen this movie before.
You said you weren't sure if you had seen it before.
Right. And I definitely didn't.
And I'm like,
there's not even like scenes that I remember. Like,
really?
maybe that opening scene with her in the yellow plaid skirt. I mean, I've seen those moments on, and I'm trying to think of there was other things in the movie that I had seen clips of, but not really. I don't think so. But I had, like I said, I had not seen it. I was really looking forward to it. Like I was looking forward to it because, like I said, it's something new. It's like, okay, when you say Clueless, I'm like, all right, that's cool. I hadn't seen it, and Paul Rudd's in it. Like, let's go, let's do it. And so, like I said, there's lots of moments and there's parts of it that I like. I don't get it. I'm sorry, I don't get it. I'm like,
I understand.
I don't get it.
I think that's the thing, though. I think Clueless is a movie that doesn't really stand the test of time. Like teenagers in this generation aren't gonna watch it and get it.
Well, it's like almost watching a period piece at this point because it's it's
probably. But I feel like the people who grew up watching that movie, like the 80s and the 70s babies, like they're gonna always just love this film because they grew up in that time period. But yeah, I don't think, and I would love to have some high schoolers watch this movie and get their take on it. I know high school girls, obviously not boys, because it's like these types of movies aren't really made for boys. They're not. They're made for girls, and they're made for the young teenage girls back in the day. So I just don't know if this film stands the test of time.
I don't know. I would. And that's the point of the rewatch,
you laughed.
right?
You laughed a lot.
I didn't say I didn't enjoy parts of it. I didn't enjoy it, but I'm looking at, and in the beginning, I really liked the start of it. And I think after that first classroom scene where there's a debate, and that was really good. And then it just kind of flattened out. And there were good moments, but I liked it up. I was like digging it. And then I'm like, where are we going? Where is the point of this? Like, there's no big point.
Well, I can explain it to you if you need to know. I think it's one of those, again, you have to watch a couple of times to really get it.
I mean, I was waiting for different things to happen. I was expecting more drama, and we never got.
Well, it's just supposed to be a feel-good movie. It's really, it doesn't have a thick, like I said, it doesn't have a thick plot line. Like, It's not like it's going to change your life. I think it changed mine, but that's okay. Okay. When I was a teenager, not changed my life, but it just,
it was impactful for you?
Well, like you said, when you were talking about Remember the Titans and how you see clips of it and makes you feel good. This makes me smile. Like, I think it just makes me feel good. It reminds me of my childhood and the good parts of my childhood, and it's just like, I think it just makes me feel nostalgic, It makes me feel good. It makes me happy. Like, I wish you could see my face the whole time we were watching the movie. I'm just like beaming and smiling.
That's why I felt bad. This is a good part. I know I felt bad like watching it.
But I know it's not a great film.
But does it hold up? Does it hold up
for me? Yeah.
For you?
But that's
because
I watched it. Okay. Yeah. I think because of the nostalgia.
Yeah. I don't know how. Yeah. Well, I'll talk about the good things that stood out, and then we'll kind of talk about things I didn't like. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll start with the good, and you can add some of those, and then I'll
explain.
I'll explain some of the.
I'll debate all of your woes.
Go ahead. The party scene, I thought that was fun.
Yes, that's my favorite. That's what I talk about. The party in the valley is my favorite.
There's a lot going on very quickly.
And I will have to say too, I think a lot of the disconnect it's a lot of California like dialogue.
Well, I understand that. I've seen plenty of that where I understand the setting and all that. I mean, I didn't have a problem with that because that's what it was. That's not the point I was.
But like the LA dialogue, like the LA terms of like, you know, they always joke about like the driving, and like there's a whole SNL skit too about like driving up Sunset and all that kind of stuff.
To the 401
to the 405, and I'm probably gonna get ratioed for that. But I think a lot of that too is a disconnect for people who live like where we are. You know, we're on the complete opposite side of the United States. We don't talk like that. But again, they probably would say the same thing about us if we started talking about, you know, livestock or whatever. Not saying we grew up that way, but that is, you know, where we are. That's the stereotype for where we live, you know.
Gotcha. Yeah, like you said, the dialogue, but also the slang and stuff that they use in
the speed that they talk too. Like Murray, he talks so fast. Like, especially when he has that one line where he talks to Dion about, hey, woman. And then he's like, I told you don't call me woman. And then he has this whole long monologue about why he said it.
Yeah. It's hard to process.
I never really heard what he said until I read his quote. I'm oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because he talks so fast, which again is a California thing. Like that's how they talk. They talk really fast. You can't really understand them.
I wonder if they like made up some of these for the film, or if where they got some of these. I mean, obviously the iconic as if.
Yeah.
As if.
And whatever.
Yes.
But then you had like
with the W, whatever. Oh my God, I don't know how many times I did that as a teenager.
Exactly.
Whatever.
But like, was that where it came from? Like, is that where it started?
As if,
film?
I'm pretty sure it did.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure that was from Clueless. Now, the whatever, I don't know.
I'm sure it got into more homes quicker that way, but I don't know if that was a thing.
I have no idea. Don't know if that's where they started it from. Yeah, I don't know.
There was a couple of them like that I saw, like Jeepin'.
Yeah, you told me that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. He's like, girl, you been jeeping on me?
Yeah.
And that means, are you having sex in
having
cars?
An affair, yeah.
Sex in vehicles or something. And then he kept calling, and several times they called a woman Betty.
Yes, I know what that means. Yeah.
It's like an older, attractive woman or whatever. So I thought that was funny. There's a couple other ones that we don't have to get into.
Well, you know that's from, right?
The Betty? Mm-hmm. That's from the poster, the old 40s poster, the Betty.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Either that or my other...
You Can Do It poster.
My other inclination was Betty White. But I don't know if that's the case or not.
I don't know if that's that one.
That's where I immediately went to.
That's where you went to? I think it's the Betty... I don't know.
Well, there's a couple of shout outs to Golden Girls.
Was it?
Yes. I don't remember what they were, but there was a couple of different shout outs to Golden Girls. So that was kind of my thinking of that's where they were headed with that, but I could be completely wrong.
Like I said, I don't know if that's a normal slang at the time to call people Bettys, if that was like
it is. Yeah, I remember that. I mean, obviously I didn't talk that way, but I do remember like that was a thing, calling people a Betty. Yeah.
Yeah. So
what did you like about that? I know we kind of went far from that, but what did you like about the party scene?
Like I said, there's a lot going on, and they're moving around a lot, and a lot of different interactions pretty quick. Then they had the suck and blow thing.
Hey everyone, let's play Suck and Blow.
Okay.
But that was a thing that's funny, but I didn't read about it. Did you?
Yeah, it's about the actual.
They had such a hard time.
Yes.
They had a hard time. The cast had a hard time doing the suck and blow game
with the credit card. Yeah. So they had to do like a piece of cardboard.
Well, they tried different things, and then they just lathered a bunch of chapstick on their lips.
They
put lathered chapstick on their lips so they could do the game. So it could stick to them.
Did you ever play Suck and Blow?
No.
No, have not either.
I was trying to remember.
I think we were going to, and then I think we got busted.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Really?
Yes.
That was fun. The party scene, and then the club scene. The later on, the club scene with Christian. Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. And then, but the best part was the ska band. I was like, oh my gosh, they have ska. I was like, oh, we have totally gone back. And that was the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
Oh, I did not know.
That was Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. I think it was supposed to be played outside, but it was raining, so they moved it inside.
Oh, okay.
But I thought that really hit me. That really took me back. That hit me pretty hard.
Oh my God, ska! I was a ska fan, and I really am embarrassed. Like, I mean, that was the times, and that was what we liked. But I'm like, oh, that just needs to go away and never come back. I'm sorry for all you ska fans out there. I'm
still holding on to your.
I just can't. I can't. And I was one of the biggest fans, but not no more.
But I thought that was hilarious. The ska band that I didn't see that coming, and then the D drive when she was driving.
Oh my gosh!
And the G,
yes.
That was hilarious. The whole thing was great. From before she got on the freeway when they were talking, and then she got on the freeway.
You're getting on the freeway.
And these girls could not drive.
Oh, I know. Now I actually think that's. I'm sorry, all of you teenagers, but that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. You had to take Ella to the high school. Ella's in 8th grade, but she had to go to the high school because she's swimming for the swim team.
Yeah.
And you had to go take her there because they had an away meet. And you were going to the high school.
I was taking drop her off for a bus.
To the bus right when school's getting out.
Oh my
goodness. You're having to fight high school traffic, and you had a big reality check.
I did. I'm like, I almost had a panic attack dropping her off there. That's a whole other story. But I was like, oh my God, I can't. No, they drove fine. It was more or less, I didn't know what to do. So I felt like I was like causing traffic jams because I didn't know. It was a weird
You didn't know their flow of the school. You hadn't been to the school before. Right.
Yeah. I had been there, but not during school time.
Right. And you were going against the flow of traffic.
Yes,
probably,
I was.
too.
Yes, I was.
Not helping.
Probably the cause of the problem. But
right.
But no, I mean, of course, they exaggerate the whole driving thing. But yeah, I know, especially when Cher's trying to get her license and she has that driving instructor. And she's like,
that was funny.
The biker came out of nowhere.
Well, that was good. I loved how she was, and her dad's a lawyer, and
trying to argue her way
she argued about everything. But she's very smart.
She's very smart. Yeah.
Like, she played her as ditzy, but she is very smart, and so I did like that. Her character that way.
Well, how they made it cool to be smart. Like she wanted to have good grades.
Yeah, she did make good grades, and then she was. She argued even like her tardiness. Oh my gosh, that conversation threw us off a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, did she just say the Crimson Wave? I'm like, wow. I said, you know what she's talking about there, right? Caleb's like, yeah.
Yeah, I got that pretty quick. That's what what's his name, Mr. Hall.
Yeah,
He's like, I assume you're talking about female things, so I will
excuse it.
Yeah, I will excuse it.
Cher Horowitz. 2 tardies.
I object. Do you recall the dates of these alleged tardies?
One was last Monday.
Mr. Hall, I was surfing the Crimson Wave. I had to haul ass to the ladies.
Yeah, that was another one of the good lines was when, what's his name? Troy, right?
Which one?
That's the skateboarder.
Yeah.
Troy? Yeah. He got up and...
No, Travis.
I think it started with a T. Travis got up there and took an acceptance speech for all his tardies. I was like, oh, I love this. I forgot.
And then Mr. Hall sitting there just looking at him like, what the world? I do want to talk about that because that was another thing that I liked at work was the 2 teachers getting set up and ending getting married. That was fun. That was cute. Now,
did you know that the Amy, the writer director, she was a bridesmaid in that wedding?
Oh, really?
Yeah, she makes a cameo. Yeah, they said that you can see her. Obviously, I don't know who she is or what she looks like, but she was in the scene where they were fighting for the bouquet.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
I know. I thought that was pretty cool. She inserted herself in that.
And I love Mr. Hall.
Yes, he's just a great actor.
He's a good actor, and I was very disappointed that he never said "inconceivable." A reference to Princess Bride, another one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
He didn't fall? Inconceivable. You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
But
I know another one of my favorite. I guess it was not really a scene, but like you were talking about before about the beginning of the film, that whole beginning part of them just Alicia Silverstone's voiceover that's very, very iconic to this movie. Like, it's one of those that you just immediately recognize that it's Clueless. And then Cher's closet. So obviously that part is very, very far-fetched, and we definitely didn't have that in the 90s, having that electronic closet.
Is she like touching her screen? Like, you did not have touch screen monitors then. That was like,
I don't even know how they did that with the filming.
That was just a play button. That was just filming. That was like, she got her timing down or something.
I remember that when I was younger, watching it, and thought it was so cool. And I was like, oh, I wish I had Cher's closet. Like,
oh, sure.
That was so great. And then how she says, I don't believe in mirrors. I take everything in Polaroids.
That was funny.
That's so good. So now that you talked about like what you liked, and sadly, what are some things that you didn't like, or I guess not didn't like, but didn't work for you?
Didn't work for me. Okay, so
I know it's probably the subplot line. You don't ever like my movies with the subplot lines.
Well, the voiceover. I know you just talked about the voiceover part and the whole voiceover thing. That was a little much for me. It was a lot.
It was a very
narration.
90s thing.
It was a lot of narration.
Yeah,
from
it's a
her.
90s thing that they do. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that might be kind of nitpicking. I think they needed more drama, especially from Ty and Cher. Like, they set up a big dramatic thing to make up, and it was starting the upward path of being a lot of drama, and then they just shut it off, and it was like they were just made up. It was over.
That's so realistic, though. That's so like, I mean, with teen girls, that's how it is. Like, you're just like, oh, I hate you. You're the worst. And then you're like the next day, oh, I love you so much. I'm so sorry. Let's be friends again. Okay.
I guess.
Oh, I'm it.
I mean, not everyone, but that is, that's just typical young teenage drama, you know.
Which I like the whole, like, Ty, the Brittany Murphy, her being a makeover and taking her under her wing. I mean, that was a nice touch to the movie and how they did all that.
Let's do a makeover.
And then that's the whole thing. It was like setting up to, like, I guess to be similar to other teen movies, to be a little more drama than that, and there just wasn't. It was just like, here's our life. It was like the movie was like, here's our life for this, I don't know, what, week or two or something. It was like,
no, it was longer than that.
It was longer than that.
There really is no time on it. Like, you really couldn't catch the time on it. You know what I feel like? I feel like they ran out of time. That's what I feel like. I feel like when that whole drama started between Cher and Ty, I feel like they just ran out of time in the movie.
It seemed like it could have been like 10 more minutes of that.
Yeah.
I think the movie was long enough as it was, but I think they could have did some things different. So much time in the beginning. But like, that's what I thought the movie was about, and then it's more about like her finding love, and which brings me to the next part that I do not like was the whole Josh and Cher relationship was just so cringy. It was like, I did not like it. I understand that they're like ex step brother and sister, but their still relationship was totally brother sister, and I'm like,
yeah, if I ever saw you do anything that wasn't 90% selfish, I'd die of shock.
Oh, that'd be reason enough for me.
And then, not only that, she is. At the time, at some point during that time, I guess but she said she was about to be 16.
Yeah, you really have to just disregard that.
And she's like 16, and he's obviously at least 18 in like college, and they're like, so cringy.
I think looking at it now too, as a dad, like, it's hard to think back and like
she doesn't look 16. Like,
no.
She definitely doesn't. She dresses maturely, and all that, but
no,
the whole...
I do know. I did look at that differently when I watched it this time, and because I do like to think about, like, okay, how old are they? You know, like, what are we working with here? Like, if they didn't give me any context, I would have assumed high school seniors. You know, that would be a high school junior, maybe a senior. And you're right. You know, Josh, he he had at least have had graduated. Like, and I think he was probably around 18, 19 years old, but
Right.
he looked 25. Like, I mean, they all did in reality, but no, I mean, and I think it's just something about that you just have to overlook, because they obviously did not take that into account when they made this storyline and the details.
They could have made her a senior, like an 18-year-old senior, and it would have been a little bit better.
But then the driving thing would have not really been
right
into that.
But then you have two different, like you said, you have to fight two different age ranges for all of it. I thought if it would have focused,
that's just part of the teen movie thing.
I guess.
It's like you
I
just
know.
have to
I know it's like
disregard the whole
okay,
plot
it's like
holes.
it's a whole fantasy for a lot of like stepbrothers and stuff. It's like
well, I don't know about that.
But I guess. But like
it's a lot of fantasy for a lot of high schoolers to date college kids. Yes, that was the fantasy in that time period. I don't know. I think any time period really, but they thought it was cool to date a college kid. Whether it's a girl, boy, whatever. That was kind of the thing. Was like you stepped out when you started dating college. Yeah. Well, that was her whole thing. Was like she's like, I'm not gonna date high school kids. That's just not me or whatever. But yeah, no. And I did watch it this time, and I knew what was coming. Like I knew it was coming, and I'm sure you.
I think I knew that. I knew that, and then I knew that they. I didn't know how far I know they kissed in the movie. But I don't know how much of a relationship they were having, and I didn't realize I know Paul Rudd and her in the movie. I didn't know what Josh's character was. I didn't know he was a stepbrother or ex-stepbrother, until we watched the movie.
And I feel like they kind of make you forget that.
They try to rule it. They tell you several times.
Yeah, they almost try to make you forget that.
I know, and they never say his age, but they did say her age because she turned 16.
And I never realized that until I watched it this time either.
So that was a little cringy, but I think I would have liked more. I wish the story followed Ty and Cher, or at least Ty. That whole maybe the three friends and that. I mean, it was almost like a Mean Girls situation.
Yeah.
That could have happened. I guess like the three.
Well, I'm glad that you wished it was longer.
Well, at least that plot line could have
gone to another thing, because like whenever they're at the lunchroom table, she kind of shuns her a little bit, and that could have gone off to do something.
And then
else.
The next scene they have where
how she was kind of changing her, making her a monster.
She liked Josh in their house, and then they have that exchange where Ty was very mean to Cher about her driving, like what she's called her.
She said
virgin who can't drive.
Yeah, virgin who can't drive. Which also, fun fact, Brittany Murphy was actually the virgin who couldn't drive. She was the only one who was a virgin who couldn't drive, and she was the one who had that line. So I thought that was pretty funny, which makes sense if she's 17.
She's 17, new to Hollywood and stuff. I just think they could have continued that.
No, I agree. Like I said, I feel like it was
plot line a lot better.
I feel like they kind of were like, okay, let's wrap it up now.
Yeah, I get it. So that was the biggest problems I had with it, and it was just a weak storyline. We're just watching these guys interact.
And that again, that's just a teen movie in the 1990s. That's kind of how it is, and that's how they all are. So sorry, but that's foreshadowing of all the movies that I'm going to pick.
Now there are other good ones. Like there are good ones.
There's I understand.
I understand the cult following of it. Everything. I could understand why people like it and all that. It's just not for me.
No, I get it.
I'm glad I watched it and everything, but being as I'd never seen it before. So
yeah.
All right. So my best acting. I mean, who you got? Go ahead.
I got, of course, Alicia Silverstone and Brittany Murphy.
Okay.
Like they're just great. And then what's her name again? The girl who played Dion.
Stacey Dash.
Yeah, Stacey Dash. She's kind of a close second. I really liked her in this too.
Okay.
Just, I mean, like you said, the three friends together. I do wish they had more together roles. But I mean, there was a lot in the beginning, But I mean, the star is Cher. Like it's about her, and obviously because she's the voiceover and what's going on in her brain.
She had to hit a lot of different relationships and interactions in the movie that didn't necessarily need the other actors. Yeah. Other characters and stuff.
Do you agree with best acting?
Definitely Alicia Silverstone did a great job with it. But I like Brittany Murphy and then Donald Faison. I loved him.
I figured you did. He was so good.
He was so good. He walked into had the super baggy pants.
Oh my gosh.
That one time
I know you're laughing so hard.
I was like, this is awesome. This is totally 90s.
Yes, it is.
Over like extreme baggy, and he was great. I loved it. So
yeah.
And so the worst acting. So we reclassified this category as worst acting / least favorite character, because I know you didn't like saying somebody was the worst actor.
Yeah.
So if you didn't like,
we should say who we think on the count of 3, because I think it's the same one.
Do you? Okay.
I do.
I don't know.
Maybe.
Go ahead. I got.
You don't want to do it on
couple.
the count of 3?
All right, go ahead.
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Travis.
Elton. Darn it! You didn't like Travis?
I didn't like Travis.
Oh, I thought he was so
like,
adorable.
I think he was like a caricature. He was,
yes, but I mean,
especially in the beginning, like his first interaction in the classroom, he just looked like a caricature. I'm like, he did have funny moments. I did like him.
I loved him. I thought he was so adorable.
And
very likable.
There was a couple of good moments, and there's a couple of them that were a little too much. I also did not like Amber.
Whatever.
Oh my God, I can't stand her.
She was like
great actress.
She's trying too hard. She was trying too hard to be a high schooler. The whatever with the W, I'm like, she looked like she was just trying too hard.
I think that was the point.
Yeah, maybe.
I guess. Just
and
making
then
it really cheesy.
And I didn't like Elton either. He was lame.
Elton, oh my God, he's so insignificant in this movie.
Yeah,
like he could have not even been in it. I mean, great actor. He's been in some great things. Like that's what's so funny is because this movie is so old. Like this guy, he's probably like what in his 60s, 50s, 60s. Because I know he had to been in his 20s when he filmed this movie. And he's been in other movies like as an adult.
Yeah,
adult.
Right.
Not as a teen adult.
Adult acting as an adult.
Yeah, exactly. But this character was so, I just didn't like him in this movie. It was so insignificant. I think the only thing he had going for him was he had a good voice. He had a couple of little singing parts in it, and I was like, he's got a good voice.
What'd you think of Christian?
I loved his character, and the actor, I don't know who he is.
I don't think he's done
anything else, but he was phenomenal. I loved his one-liners. Yeah. I thought he was so cute, first of all. Which of course, I'm like, of course he's gay.
It was so funny because he walks in, I'm like, what is he supposed to be like in the 50s? And then he has his little car. I'm like, he's really leaning into this whole thing. And she loved it. And I'm like, the Rat Pack line, I know. And then Cher was like all about it. I'm like, come on, girl.
He was different.
He was different, and then she found out why he was different.
Yeah, and she's like, he dresses better than me. What would I bring to the relationship?
I know.
No, but I thought he was really good in that role, and he was just so adorable.
Yeah. What do you think of Paul Rudd in it?
I liked him, and I love Paul Rudd. I think he does a great job. However, I think any actor could have done as good of a job as he did.
I didn't really like Paul Rudd in it. He was fine. He was fine. So I don't know. It was.
Yeah. It was like me.
Yeah. Like I said, the biggest part was I didn't like the way that storyline went, and so that was the hardest part.
Which wasn't his fault. So yeah.
All right. So what was your favorite scene?
Oh, I already said it. The party.
Which one?
The Valley. The party in the Valley.
The party in the Valley. Okay,
yeah.
I like the driving on the freeway scene.
Oh, okay.
The driving the Jeep, the freeway. It was the most exciting part.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
It was pretty intense. Funny. It was hilarious. The way they did that with the cars. I was like, everyone is like, I guess the way they're driving California, no one cares if you're in their way, they're gonna run you over.
Yeah,
which is like here too, half the time too. So, like I said, I like the beginning scene, and then when they had the debate, which is a really funny part because. She mispronounced Haitians.
Yes, that was real.
She called them Haitians.
Yeah, that was real.
And Alicia Silverstone accidentally messed that line up. And then the director, Amy, she had to stop the crew and everyone from correcting her because she liked it so much she wanted to keep it in there.
Yes, that's great. I love that. Poor Alicia Silverstone. She probably was so embarrassed.
I know. But it was perfect for the character.
Yeah,
I would have never known. It was great. We went over some of the quotes.
Yeah, I have quite a few. It's iconic because of the one-liners that they have, and so you could just go on and on and on.
I'll let you read a couple of them because you do better than me because you undo the whole voice.
I know. I want to hear you do it, Caleb. As if.
As if.
Yeah, there's a couple of. I just picked 4 or 5 that were my favorite one-liners. I mean, all of them are great, but. Most of them are Cher's, obviously, because she talked the most, really. But in the beginning when she was talking about Dion, and she said, she's my friend because we both know what it's like to have people to be jealous of us. And then when talking about Cher losing her virginity, she says, you see how picky I am about my shoes, and they only go on my feet.
I know, right? Yeah.
And then searching for a boy in high school is as useless as searching for meaning in a Pauly Shore movie.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was great.
That was a good one.
Searching for a boy in high school is as useless as searching for meaning in a Pauly Shore movie.
And then the last one, which was a really good one, it took me a minute to follow what she said. Like, kind of all of them really do. That's why it's cool to watch it over and over again. But she said, no, she's a full-on Monet. It's like a painting, see? From far away, it's okay, but up close, it's a big old mess. And that was her talking about Amber when she was flirting with Josh? Or no, Elton, yeah. When Elton was going with Amber.
She's trying to get tired.
Yeah.
That's right. She's trying to get tired of
I'm like, I'm going to totally call people full of Monet now.
That's so bad.
Nobody will know what I'm talking about.
I like it when they're in the tennis court and Amber goes, Miss Stoger, my plastic surgeon doesn't want me doing any activites where balls fly in my nose. And Dion goes, well, there goes your social life.
Yes. That's a good one. Yeah.
It was good lines. Good. I did like the dialogue and everything, but I did like the one where the dad, when she walks down with the dress when she's going with Christian, the dad goes, "What is that?" And Cher goes, "A dress." And her dad goes, "Says who?" And she says, "Calvin Klein."
What is that?
A dress.
Says who?
Calvin Klein.
It looks like underwear. Go upstairs and put something over it.
And then I also love, she's like, well, Daddy, I'm going to put something on over it. And then she goes with the see-through dress,
like a
coat.
Or a shirt, whatever.
I was like, oh my God. I did love her and that actor's chemistry together as father-daughter. I think they did a really good job.
I like him.
I always loved all of his, Cher, get in here! Cher, get in here! He said that so many times.
I know. And they did have, and to make him so intimidating and stuff, and that was really funny. But she did not like intimidated by him. She loved him and stuff. It was great.
I know. Even what's her the Salvadorian housekeeper. She was so scared of him all the time.
That was funny. She'd go to give him food and run away. And I like that actor. He's famously known for being in Quantum Leap from the 80s and stuff. I was like,
he's been in a lot of things. Yeah, supporting acting roles.
Best product placement.
Oh man, I knew you were gonna say this. I mean, of course, the Jeep, that was the big one. I mean, it even made a line, the Jeepin'. Obviously Calvin Klein. Mention of it. Oh shoot, what was the Leia? The dress, I can't remember. I think it was what she called it, the dress when she got held up by gunpoint.
She didn't want to get on the ground because she was wearing.
It's an Alea. Yeah, I think it's what called an Alea. I've never heard of it before. That's a designer.
Yeah.
But of course, all the designers were a lot of mentions. But no, I didn't really see any other.
Well, ones. I thought
Diet Coke was a big one.
The Diet Coke was the big one.
Yeah.
It was in every scene that was.
Which was a big thing in the 90s was Diet Coke.
Yeah, Diet Coke was the big one. And then the other one I thought was hilarious was the Mentos. When she's sitting on the couch and she's basically doing a Mentos commercial in the middle of this movie.
Yeah.
She with Ty just reads follows along with the Mentos commercial on TV.
Yeah, the infomercial, And then of course you can't forget about the buns of steel.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she had
my buns don't feel like new steel.
The buns of steel. Yeah, one was a Cindy Crawford video. She alternated the Cindy Crawford
I think so.
Workout. She called it something, and then there was the other one, so that was funny. His and her rating. It's time for the rating.
All right. I'm so scared. You're going to make me cry. I think I realized that Pretty Woman was a completely different movie from Clueless, but they both hold the same meaning in my heart.
Oh.
I gotta stop picking these movies that I love so much because I can't really defend them. Like, I totally understand there are a lot of plot holes.
I think you're picking great. You're having great picks because of movies that I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
And you're rewatching them and from that time, and some of them like this one you probably hadn't seen in a long time.
Right, I haven't.
So it's nice to go back and watch those. So I like that, and I like movies I hadn't seen before, and so I'm not having to. I can look forward to seeing it, even if I don't really like it or end up liking it. It's because I am seeing it for the first time.
Yeah.
So it's
movies like this, and which is why they make them such a cult classic. Is like I could watch this movie again today.
Really?
I love it that much. I mean, it's like Mrs. Doubtfire. Like, we love that movie. Every time it comes on TV, I'll turn it on because it's just a great movie. And of course, it's clean for the children when they're around. But which, you know, it's just one of those really good feel-good movies. And that's how Clueless is. It doesn't make you sad. It's not going to make you question life. You know, it's just a good feel-good movie that makes you feel happy at the end, you know. It can make you laugh.
Okay, I gotcha. So,
I'm really going for it here. I'm trying to defend it.
I understand. And but
be honest, it's okay. I understand.
It was a tough one, and like I said, I went open mind watching this movie, but I think I'm just gonna give it a 2 stars.
2 stars?
2 stars. I'm sorry,
Caleb.
I liked Pretty Woman better.
I could see that.
I like Pretty Woman.
But they're not comparable to me. Like, to me, they're just not comparable. They're 2 different movies. But, okay. I'll remember that.
I know. See, I almost got 2.5. It was close to 2.5.
You at least 2.25?
Are we doing half stars?
I don't know. I did. No,
I didn't.
Did I last one?
Oh,
I just gave it a 3.
Just gave it a 4.
A 4, yeah. Yeah, I said I would have given it a 4.5, except for that one lady that I didn't like in that movie.
So it was good moments. Gives it a
2.
Good
wow,
start.
the people are not going to like this, Caleb. That people already were talking about your Pretty Woman rating and how they couldn't believe you only gave it a 3. It's a 5-star movie.
I believe that most guys would feel similar to me.
Well, I could see. I would have thought that you would have liked Clueless better than Pretty Woman because Clueless is funny, and it has a lot of good one-liners. But apparently, plot line is very important to you.
That one's like non-existent.
And the plot holes were too noticeable for you.
No, like I said, I understand why everybody likes it. I don't understand why it's a cult classic.
Then why'd you give it a 2?
But it's not for me. Like, if you would have said, like, because the way I looked at it is like, how often would I want to go rewatch this movie?
Okay.
I don't really care to go rewatch it anytime soon.
You won't watch it again?
Not anytime soon. And that's a big...
Too bad. We're watching it again today.
Oh, God.
I'm just kidding.
I know. So,
that's okay. I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll take it.
These ratings... I might have to stop doing the ratings. We're going to fight over these ratings.
No, I respect your opinion, and I take it.
I appreciate it.
I'll just remember that for next time.
Okay.
Just kidding.
All right. Any final thoughts on it? I think we covered pretty much.
No final thoughts. Obviously, I give it a 5-star.
5-star.
I love this movie.
And you said, because I did want to ask you, and you already said part of what is you're going to you would rewatch it today. That's how rewatchable this is for you. Because I think I want to do like our rating, and then the person who picks it kind of say how often they would rewatch it and how they feel about it. So you said you watch it again today.
Yeah.
Me, not so much.
I'm it.
Okay, so we'll end on that.
Okay.
We'll move on. We'll look forward to our next one. This was fun, though. I will say this is really fun. I'm glad we watched it.
Good. I'm glad you watched it.
Not knocking any part of that.
So if you came across a movie you wish you did not watch, would you just give that a 0? Or are we giving zeros? Or just 1 to 5?
I mean, maybe half star might be the top. I don't know if we can give zeros. I don't think there's going to be.
There won't be any?
I don't think there will be any.
Okay. I don't think there would be either. I mean, we obviously picking movies that we like. At least one of us likes.
And usually lots of people like them. They're not just like, you're not the only person in the world that likes this movie. Like, there's a reason that it's stick around and makes an impact. So, anyways, we'll look forward to our next.
Yeah, what is your next movie? We haven't even talked about it.
You haven't? I don't know.
No, you never told me what it was going to be.
Okay, I think I asked you a little bit about it because I asked you a couple of different ones that see if you had seen before. I did want to go with one that I haven't seen in a long time that I really enjoyed. It's very popular at the time, especially at the time.
Well, we discussed this too because we were trying to figure out the best way to talk about movies. I feel like, in my opinion, would be movies that one of us hasn't seen at all or very rarely, because we were kind of trying to pick movies that we had both seen a lot, or not a lot, but just have seen multiple times.
We had discussed if that was a good strategy or not, and we'll probably get there.
Yeah,
but I think right now we'll go back and forth, and I think even we will pick movies to discuss that we really like together at some point down the road, just to mix things up.
Yeah,
there's a couple of movies that are just kind of older that are just like our movies, and maybe people would like to hear us talk about why we enjoy it, and maybe
together.
So anyways,
what movie did you pick?
I picked the 2000 film Gladiator.
Oh my gosh.
What?
I haven't seen this before.
You've never seen Gladiator?
I think I've seen bits and pieces of it.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like I may have saw it at school. I took a film class in college one time, and we watched a lot of movies I never watched that I've always wanted to watch. Yeah. This is another one of those I've always wanted to watch, but I've never really just wanted to sit down and watch it, I guess. Yeah.
This has got a great cast. I don't know how long this is.
I think this is long.
I'm sure it's at least 2 hours. It's probably over 2 hours. But
this will be definitely different for us.
I think this won an Academy Award.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
That has a lot of awards in it. I think we'll go over that a little bit.
Who's in this again?
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. Oh, I love me some Russell Crowe.
You'll like him.
As long as it's not The Patriot. I can't make it through the Patriot movie. I know that's not Russell Crowe, but I can't make it through Patriot.
I know we had talked about that. There's several that have that
or Saving Private Ryan. Please, I don't want to cry a whole movie. Every time I watch The Patriot, I cry. Every time. It's just so sad.
Yeah, those are like that and Braveheart are just like, they seem like those are those kind of movies.
Never seen Braveheart.
I don't know if I've even seen that all the way through. I know it was a very popular movie, just like some of these.
All right, so
whole period.
We're gonna go from Clueless to Gladiator.
Gladiator.
Couldn't be far from it.
So we'll figure out that one. I know is free on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
So you can. I looked that up already. So you can watch that on Amazon Prime and get ready for that listen. And we'll plan this one out. And I'm looking forward to this one. It's got a lot of good actors and actresses and good story. And I
don't know why I look forward to watching my movies, but I don't look as forward to watching your movies. Do you feel the same way?
No,
kind of.
I look forward to watching Clueless. Okay. I did look forward to watching Clueless.
Okay.
I was excited to watch it.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry that you don't feel the same way.
I mean, I am, but it's like, I don't know. I get scared. And I enjoy it when I do watch it because I like watching movies, but it's pushing me outside of what I would want to do because I've always wanted to watch Gladiator. I've always wanted to watch, the other movies, but I've just never done it because I always felt like, well, I'd rather watch Clueless again.
Yeah. Like I said, I think I've only watched Gladiator twice total. I remember.
I'm worried it's going to go over my head.
Nah.
No. Not that
deep. A lot of action, a lot of blood, I think.
Yeah.
So anyways, we'll wrap it up. Thank you guys for listening. Follow us on our socials. Hope you enjoyed this one. Give us some feedback. Make sure you subscribe to our podcasts. Write a review, and maybe we'll read it out here sometime. And anything
to
add?
Nope. Just see you next week.
See you next week. Bye, guys.